always, from our perspective, all of these programs are in fact integrated. The integrated programs of Dawn Mountain have both the flexibility to respond to individual specific situations and, for those who seek it, a traditionally sanctioned sequence of teachings from the Indian and Tibetan traditions. This is something I think special about how we work. Obviously, we're in the West. Not everybody is a Buddhist or wants to be a Buddhist or even knows what it might mean to think about being Buddhist or not Buddhist. And so, as I said earlier, we welcome everyone, whatever your position is, as you understand it, vis-a-vis religion in general or Buddhism or anything else. If you want to learn about attention and mindfulness, compassion, self-introspection, we welcome you and we want to help you learn about that. And learning about those things will be absolutely essential also, should you feel, as a number of people do, that what you want also is to, and this is not a decision you have to make at any particular time. It might be a decision you make, a couple years from now as you develop yourself. But we want you to know from the outset that we do offer a traditional type train. Traditional type, I say, because we're always orienting to bridge to the West. We ourselves have studied with traditional Tibetan teachers since the early 1970s, and we hold that logos very strongly. And it is our mission to translate and transmit that in a way that works for Westerners, and we're continually tweaking and fine-tuning that. So if you're interested in a traditional Tibetan path, moving through traditional structures of practice, until enlightenment, and also helped by the Tibetan teachers that we invite to come and teach, that is available here. We do encourage it. However, it's not a requirement, and we want you to understand that. So, as we say, some of our programs emphasize life skills, as we've talked about. We consider attention and kindness to be important life skills. And actually, some ability to be with yourself and just sense into what's going on with you in an ongoing way in your life is also a very important life skill. These same skills, as I just said, are crucial for all aspects of the spiritual path. So you're not wasting your time. If you're cultivating attention, compassion, kindness to yourself, you are preparing for a traditional Tibetan practice, should you choose you want that. And if not, you're gaining life skills. Win-win. Travel on the path takes time. As we have said, one of the first skills to cultivate is patience with your own process. Love thyself. Travel on the path also requires the guidance of teachers and the support of a practicing community, as we've discussed. Hence, we're here. Hence, the community is here. And, we're a developing and a maturing community, and we are more and more, and I can see a lot of changes, actually, in the years over which we've been growing as a community. I would say that we are becoming more skilled and intend to become even more skilled in, fostering and supporting each other. And again, the senior students who lead Tuesday practices, some of the people who greet you, we're all actually have as our mission learning more and more about how to nurture each other, whether our role is as teacher or friend, and sometimes, it goes back and forth, just fellow practitioner, just co-member of Dawn Mountain, Sangha, sister or brother. It is a profound orientation of our community to learn how to support each other in life and in practice. Are we always perfect? No. Do we try to cultivate patience with our imperfections? Yes. And in that way, we model for each other kindness. So this is an ongoing river of development. So, as I said, we invite you to participate at whatever level works for you at this time. We understand people have different levels of time you can commit. So you have children, you have jobs, you have other responsibilities. We understand that. This is not a straitjacket kind of community. What we do encourage and really support is that within what is possible for you, that you really do pay conscious attention to aligning with your own values, which very possibly are our values. That is, the cultivation of attention, kindness, living in alignment with your values, and understanding that it's a process and we're not always going to be good at what we are cultivating. That's why we cultivate. So we invite your participation. We invite you to join us for teachings, for practices, for retreats, so you get some nourishment for your practice. A lot of people everywhere. I was just teaching in Portland, and I had a meeting with people who are quite new to practice, and quite a few of them have been practicing, perhaps like some of you, quite a long time by themselves. I read, they say. I don't practice, quote, quote, but I read. I like it. But now I feel, I need a community. I need a teacher. Yes, we do. We all do, actually. So we're keeping each other company on the path. That's the purpose, spiritual community. So what can you expect if you participate? Over a continuing and open-ended period, because it's different. Some people attend, let's say, Teaching Tuesdays quite consistently over time. And after a couple of years, I think people will tell you, you learn quite a lot. You do reading. If you're inclined to read, we have reading lists that we suggest, and you will learn if you wish. But it's not like you... It's really up to you. It's what you choose to emphasize. However, if you participate, you can expect to be introduced to and accomplish, to some degree, the major practices of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, if you're taking that trajectory, grounded in the most ancient traditions dating back to the 8th century. So our particular, for those of you who are going to be oriented toward, traditional Tibetan practice, while we are very non-sectarian at heart and have, in fact, ourselves studied quite extensively with teachers from different traditions, I've written books from different traditions, as has Harvey. When it comes to practice, so in our hearts we're open-hearted and we're not unbiased and non-sectarian. And we will pull in teachings from across the Buddhist spectrum and from the West as well. Buddhist psychology, for example, Harvey's expertise, one of Harvey's areas of expertise. But in terms of an actual sequence of practices that you can actually follow in one lifetime, being a dedicated, but, a person who's living in the world, we offer these primarily from the most ancient of the Buddhist traditions of Tibet, known as Nyingma. And within that, while again we draw from different transmission lineages within that, for example, connected with Dujia Rinpoche, our main one is known as the heart essence, which is actually a very widely and beloved and non-sectarian orientation within Nyingma. So that's where we come from when we get to more traditional practices. In all of these teachings, at whatever level you are at, we are always aiming to understand our real nature, to experience it directly. First, to have some cognitive understanding, so it makes sense that this would be something valuable for us, and then to develop some experience around that through our own reflection, and then really through meditation, increasingly deep and focused and skilled and guided meditation and conversation with your teachers, really developing that genuine capacity to, what a miraculous thing it is, to actually see clearly what you really are, the being that you really are. This is something both easy and not easy, and it takes time, and everything we do, whether it's under the rubric of traditional Buddhism or not, whether it's cultivating attention as a life skill or compassion as a life skill, or doing traditional practices to connect, let's say, with green Tara, it's all oriented toward this end, because that is the ultimate end in many traditions, and certainly in all the Buddhist traditions. Who you are is amazing, and we have not a clue, actually. We're so busy fabricating personas because we don't know how else to do it, really, in the world. We just don't. We have to, you have to slick up for a job interview. You go on a date, or you just meet somebody, and, maybe you can feel it. Some mask comes over, some, structure comes into your body, and you go into habitual kinds of dance that you do, and maybe even it's very effective. But what we learn in practice is that's not your deepest being. It may be a skillful means, or it may be a pattern that's got you trapped and you can't break out of. So everything is oriented toward this recognition. And it's extremely profound. And it takes time to understand even what that means, let alone to begin to access it experientially.